In the summer of 2025, astronomers spotted something that shouldn't have been there. A faint, fast-moving object racing in from deep space. At first, they thought it was a comet. They named it 3I Atlas, the third known visitor from another star. But the more they studied it, the stranger it got. Its chemistry was wrong. Its path was suspicious. And some scientists began to wonder, what if this isn't a comet at all? What if it's something pretending to be one? July 1st, 2025, a telescope in Chile, part of NASA's Atlas project, picked up a new blur of light. It was moving fast, but didn't seem to be orbiting the sun. That's when things got interesting. 3I Atlas wasn't on a normal orbit. It was on a hyperbolic trajectory, a one-way path through the solar system. It wasn't bound to the sun. It was just passing through. That made it only the third confirmed interstellar object ever discovered. After Oumuamua in 2017 and Borisov in 2019, this was number 3. Hence the name 3I, Third Interstellar, found by Atlas. By the time we saw it, 3I Atlas was already plunging into the inner solar system at over 200,000 kilometers per hour. It was never going to get too close, about 170 million miles from Earth at its closest. No threat, no drama. But for astronomers, that distance didn't make it less important. This was a piece of another solar system, another star, another origin story. Telescopes all over the world locked on. Hubble saw a coma forming, the cloud of gas around its core. Even ESA's JUICE spacecraft on its way to Jupiter captured images of 2 distinct tails trailing behind it. Everything about it screamed comet until the data started coming in. And nothing about this object was normal. The first real surprise wasn't visual, it was chemical. Using the ALMA radio telescopes in Chile, scientists analyzed the gases boiling off 3I Atlas as it approached the sun. And what they found was weird. Most comets are mostly water ice, with just traces of other stuff like methanol or hydrogen cyanide. But this one was loaded with them. Methanol made up around 8% of its vapor. That's way more than usual. Hydrogen cyanide was also unusually high. Together, these are molecules we associate with prebiotic chemistry, the early ingredients that can lead to the building blocks of life. Now, this doesn't mean 3I Atlas is carrying life, but it does raise a fascinating possibility. If these kinds of objects are common in other star systems, could they be delivering organic material, even to planets like ours? Some scientists focused on that. The hope, the possibility of panspermia, life, or at least its chemistry, spreading between stars. Others took a different path. Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb pointed to the mix of chemicals and called it friendly. Not just rich, almost suspiciously helpful, like it was designed to bring life's ingredients. Now, most chemists didn't agree with that interpretation. They reminded everyone different stars mean different recipes. If it came from another system, of course it would be unusual. Still, nobody could deny how extreme this composition was. And that strangeness started to fuel something bigger. Let's talk about the orbit. Interstellar objects can come from literally anywhere, above, below, sideways. But 3I Atlas did something odd. It came in on a retrograde orbit, opposite the direction our planets move, but tilted only about 5 degrees off the flat plane of the solar system. almost perfectly aligned with where all the planets are. Not impossible, but rare. Then it started getting weirder. As it dove inward, it passed relatively close to Mars, skimmed near Venus's orbit, and moved toward Jupiter's region on its way out. One pass, and it just happened to sweep by 3 major planets. And then, the biggest coincidence of all, it reached perihelion, the point closest to the Sun, almost exactly on the opposite side of the Sun from Earth. At the very moment it would have been most active, we couldn't see it, hidden by sunlight, completely blocked. Some called it bad luck. Others weren't so sure. To add to that, it came from the direction of Sagittarius, right toward the center of the galaxy, one of the busiest, brightest parts of the sky. Hard to detect faint objects there. By the time we saw it, it was already halfway here. You see the pattern? Weird orbit, convenient planetary flybys, perfectly hidden activity, late detection. On their own? Maybe nothing. Together? It raised a question that still lingers. What if this wasn't just passing through? What if it was following a route? That's when Avi Loeb stepped back into the spotlight. You might remember him from the debates around Oumuamua. This time, he raised a bold possibility. What if 3I Atlas is artificial, a mothership, a scout, a probe? He pointed to the chemical mix, the near-perfect orbit, the planetary flybys, the sun-shielded closest approach, even a small non-gravitational acceleration, a tiny push that didn't come from gravity alone. Comets sometimes do this when they release jets of gas. But in this case, the force seemed stronger than expected, raising questions about how much mass it would need to lose to generate that kind of movement. Some images even showed narrow focused jets, almost directional. Loeb asked the question most scientists avoid. If this were a spacecraft, is this how it would move? Use the sun for a gravity assist, stay out of sight, brush past planets, shift your course slightly with jets. Now, to be clear, most astronomers don't buy it, but they can't prove him wrong either. And just like that, 3I Atlas jumped from data charts to something much bigger. Here's where we bring it back to reality. What does the evidence actually tell us? Right now, most scientists still see 3I Atlas as a natural interstellar comet. Weird? Absolutely. Artificial? Not likely. Here's why. First, it looks like a comet. It has a coma, it has tails, it vents material when heated, just like frozen bodies do. Second, the chemistry is extreme, but not impossible. We've seen weird comets before, even inside our own solar system. Third, the orbit might seem precise, but it's also where we're most likely to notice interstellar objects. Telescopes look near the ecliptic, the plane where planets move. And finally, the small acceleration. Still within what outgassing might explain, scientists are working on models right now. The truth is, we don't know everything, but mystery doesn't mean technology. Jumping to aliens every time we don't understand something, that's not science. That's impatience. Still, asking bold questions is part of the process, even if the answer is more ordinary than we hoped. Right now, 3I Atlas is leaving. It passed its closest point in October 2025, brightened as it released gas and dust, and faded as it moved away from the sun. ESA's JUICE spacecraft and other observatories captured valuable data, but some of it won't be fully analyzed until late 2026. We still don't know its full size. We don't know its internal structure. We haven't seen every jet or every spin. No signal, no pattern, no beacon. but also no full explanation. 3. I-Atlas remains exactly where science is most alive, right between what we know and what we don't. So, is 3 I-Atlas not a comet? Well, it's definitely not a typical one. Its behavior is bizarre. Its chemistry is extreme. Its path is full of surprises. But does that mean artificial? Not yet. What we do know is that it's pushing the boundaries of what we thought comets could be, and maybe, just maybe, opening a new chapter in how we think about interstellar visitors. Because if one object like this can show up unexpectedly, there could be more. And someday, one of them might not be a mystery. It might be a message. Until then, 3. I-Atlas is a mirror. It reflects who we are when we face the unknown. Curious, hopeful, skeptical, and very, very human. So, what do you think? Is 3 I-Atlas a natural wanderer from the stars and something much more deliberate? Let me know in the comments. And if you love exploring strange stories like this, subscribe, share, and join me next time. Because this might look like a comet, but it sounds like something you never thought about.